Hello, folks. Um, Back again with ancient geography, cosmography. Um, so this seems to be South America. Like this is like Panama, and this, or this is Central America, and this is South America, the northern part of it. But there's this cow like or this bull or something sticking out of there with his hooves sticking out. And so that seems to be like these this part of like Colombia and maybe this part of Venezuela. So like I saw this is a Paleolithic either European or Asian painting. I think anyway, I'm pretty sure it's a Paleolithic, like Stone Age. Could be like 30, 40,000 years old. I'm not exactly sure where it's from, but it's one of these ones where they combine a bunch of animals together. So it could be actually this, because it has these hooves that like stick out the side from here. And then this crevice here. So yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking it's kind of similar. That maybe there's some chance that these two hooves are these two hooves. And that, maybe this horn would be a Paria Peninsula over here. I don't know. Hard to know. So yeah, it might not be, but it could be the same type of thing. If it's not that, it could be some other landmass. Um, you know, Strongly possible. And then, so these are what I thought, might be the face of America in the ancient avatars, like in the ancient Egyptian avatar. This might be the face of Amentet Neferet, the beautiful West. It's part of Canada or Alaska or something in this Hudson Bay, Northeast Hudson Bay. So, but the only thing that doesn't match is she's supposed to have like a long chin that, or like a jaw. So that would only work if this whole river was the bottom of her jaw somehow, and like this was her mouth. But that would kind of look weird vis-a-vis the eyes, so it looks more like this one is. So maybe, I mean, they could have just expanded it. Maybe this is her jaw, but they just zoomed in on that part, as they sometimes do with certain important parts. All right, so this is, I was showing the Mayan maps of Siberia, that this is, I think he represents Afro-Eurasia as a whole, Mictlantecuhtli, and because I think the underworld, which is Afro-Eurasia, is called Mictlan, and then he's its, personification, he's its avatar. So basically, like, his eye is like this peak here, these mountain peaks, where it's actually is white and snowy there. It's like and let's see, and then these two lines on his nose are like these two mountain ranges, this one and this one, because you can see they start a little bit in past the nose. So I think this nose, like the real nose, is kind of like is this part right here. This peninsula is like that tip. So it's after there a bit that these mountains start. So it's like one, two, these two like lines basically that go across, and so not completely exact, but and then these might represent this whole mountain range that goes down and up. So maybe this goes down and then up in some kind of way. The Cherskli or Gurskly. Anyway, cool kind of names for stuff. And then this is like his little tassel coming off. It does kind of look like it's like a tie. There's a knot here, and then there's like little like strings hanging on the back. And so yeah, basically like that. This part would be like this, whatever this is. I think his hair kind of, or I think this is the hair. So maybe this whole thing is just that. Right. Oh, so that's our underworld. For if you're American, that's that's your underworld, or if you're Afro-Eurasian, then that's your world. And this is your underworld. Amentet Neferet, the goddess Hel. See this? I was just gonna show. Do I have it? No. Okay, whatever. I'll put those aside for now. Yeah. Just gonna show those in tandem with something else. Yeah. And then of course also you can see like the shape of the blade is the same, that it has tape goes down and then straight on the bottom and then is rounded on the top and is especially bumpy right towards the northern end of these two mountain ranges. So basically right here is where you see the most bumps on the top part of there, which matches these like bumpy peninsulas there. So it's pretty exact. I mean, not exact in every way, obviously, but certain parts are very exact. So yeah, there's Amentet Neferet, America. So yeah, her jaw is like longer. So if it is that one, it would have to be really zooming in on that part, or maybe some river that extends from it or something. Who knows? What this says, yeah, this is Osiris, Afro-Eurasia. So this is why I was calling, there's a spell that refers to the one who bends the Osiris's knees or knee or something. So I was thinking that might be Madagascar, that like if these are Osiris's legs and maybe if this is his waist or something, yeah, like this is his waist, this is his big caboose, and this, so then this might be his knee right here. And then this would be like right in front of his knee, so it would be seen as the one who bends his knee or something like that. Or there's a chance that somehow this is considered his knee, and so the one who bends his knee would be here or something else. But yeah, oh yeah, this is what I was gonna show for that Inigua Island. Yeah, of course it won't let me delete things because I have too much stuff open, so it's kind of like in crash mode. But is it this? No. So yeah, I'm not sure if I showed this image or not yet, but I just wanted to show it because like, so yeah, I think that at least leaning towards that this guy is this great Inagua, and that his buck that he's skinning is like this guy. Basically this part, because I think this part is much more like a bunch of like interconnected islands surrounded by water through here. That's why it's lighter color. So I think his main body is like just this part here. And then maybe that his tail is somewhere around here or there. And then this part that he's being hanging from is just all these this kind of loose uh, assortment of islands and water there. But anyway, so this guy just like I think that his arm, this lower arm at least, might be this part right here. So that might be, you know, basically articulated, like delineated by this waterway right in here. So that would separate the out the lower arm. And then this would be like this kind of disconnected leg that's kind of cut off here by a little waterway and then goes to there. And then this part is a little more mysterious, but there are some waterways in here that probably delineate the head and this arm, or the head is this separate island next to it. So anyway, that's just a little more insight into that. You know, it's basically called it's called Inagua, which, you know, is probably related to the fact that it's filled with agua, filled with water. And so it's kind of a unique, weird island that way. And oh yeah, and then it has that weird well, can't even see it in this actually. But yeah, only in this can you see this weird S shaped thing kind of coming off of his back. So there we go. Inagua, agua, inagua, agua in inagua. So this is a Mayan codex, I believe. Not sure which codex, but you know, it's one of the few of their books that weren't burned by the Christians. You know, as soon as Christian Europeans showed up here, they burned almost every book in this hemisphere. They left about 3 or 4. I don't know. Of the Mayan books, there's like 3 or 4, and then of the Aztec books, there's like maybe 3 or 4. But you know, there was probably hundreds or maybe thousands originally. So, yep, because they, you know, but people are okay with it because they believe the conquistadors when they say that everybody was just humans sacrificing each other until we came over and burned all their books. Of course, there's zero evidence for that. Just like that's, you know, sometimes they find like graves of people that are like, you know, either mass graves, because that was a common practice. Even Christians often had mass graves. They would bury all their dead together. But that somehow is, you know, modern people are so stupid that to them they literally believe that's evidence of human sacrifice. If you find a mass grave, that means human sacrifice. Also, if you find somebody that was killed by violence or some sort of injury, that's everything is human sacrifice to like modern Christians and atheists and whatever, all modern white people. They need pagans to be evil so that they don't feel bad that they wiped out their entire civilization, so that they say, oh yeah, because we saved them. Really, it's like, I mean, haven't you watched the Mel Gibson movies? We're the heroes here. I mean, we burned all their books and all their maps because otherwise they just would keep sacrificing everybody. fucking anyway, so but yeah, so this seems to be, or it certainly looks like South America. So it would be like this would be Central America, like this would be the little curvy part there. I don't know, I guess this is Panama. And then his head would be like this area around like Nicaragua and you know Uruguay, no, Nicaragua and I don't know, Honduras, I guess. Um, and then I'm guessing this egg thing or whatever this thing is he's biting is basically the Yucatan. And then this wing would be like this way that, because it's so dramatically different on the two sides here. Like on one side, it keeps sloping down, but on the other one, boom, it just is kind of the opposite. So it just goes up. So that would be this wing. And then I think like between the hand and the wing is like this C right here that's in the Egyptian map. These are like hooves or whatever, but it's a pretty major bay or whatever, like a gulf or something there. So I think that's this gulf right here. And then I suspect that this space between her hand and her shoulder are this major inland sea that comes from that gulf. It's right there, like whatever the F that sea is called, but it's pretty big. So, and it's roughly similar shape. So yeah, and then I'm not sure what else. Like I'm not sure what this is, if that's the Amazon or where the Amazon would be. Maybe this is the Amazon, and then this would be the Andes, these lines. Something like that. That's my guess. I don't know. So yeah. Try to find out more like where those are in the codex and what the text says. Here's Isla Wellington, which is like an island off the coast of Chile, like Patagonia area. In the ancient Egyptian Book of Two Ways of Jehudi Hotep, like 4,000-year-old map. And so, it's like gets the main contours, like especially this part at the top and etc. And then, so anyway, here's like Isla Wellington in Mayan codex. So this one, it's quite different. It's more anthropomorphic, obviously, but it's similar in the type. It's similar in the orientation, and that his head is like this is like his head or the top of his head, and that he's facing this way, and he's holding something. I mean, he's holding a knife, which can just be kind of symbolic of that he's a gatekeeper, or it could be like a very specific island, or yeah, actually, might be this because it's a similar shape to that. Because it will often be whatever's closest to the shore. So that knife might represent that. But in this one, he's more anthropomorphic, and it's mostly like his head that is really him, and the rest of his body's just kind of stylized, added on. His head is really the island itself, Isla Wellington. And since the people that settled America, they knew that South America was supposed to be the site of Eden in the ancient cosmology. So they named the major settlement on Isla Wellington is called Port Eden for that reason. Um, like in Dante's Inferno, Mount Purgatorio, like the deepest level of hell, which is Eden, is basically like Southwest America, and basically antipodal to the upper world, antipodal to Jerusalem, roughly. um, so yeah, so he's this guy. I'm thinking that I'm not sure what his nose is. If his nose might be this thing, or it might be this. But it makes sense more that it would be this, actually, even though it's kind of not the exact shape, but it's closer. So yeah, I'm guessing this island is his nose, and the dude he's holding is either this guy here, which really does look like a captive with his, you know, hands tied behind his back and stuff. Or maybe somehow it's this guy right here. And then this bird is like, God knows what. Maybe this thing is the bird. Yeah, maybe it's this guy and this thing, or this. Maybe these guys are both this guy, and then this is the bird. Who knows? This is using a certain type of map, which is good for showing the shape of this island, but I'm not sure how good it is for showing the rest of the shapes. Because in a regular map, you can't see the shape of any of this. Like if you just look on a Google Earth, it just all looks green. Like it all looks like it's almost all the same island, so you can't really see the coasts. Uh, so yeah, like the ancient Mayan map shows Isla Wellington better than most modern maps do in that sense. So yeah, there we go. Isla Wellington, Wellington Island. Um, so yeah, this is Mictlantecuhtli, and so he's holding it captive. So I was thinking that since these are both right near Siberia, and in the ancient Egyptian Book of Two Ways of I guess it's either of Jehudi Hotep or of Sepi. I forget which version, but it in this section of Siberia it refers to, it says there is a man who is captive here, or a man who is bound. So I took that to be St. Lawrence because that one's especially close to Siberia. And so so I'm not sure if this guy is just that, there's this peninsula that comes off that probably is represented by that rope right there. Um, but but there's a chance that he somehow is both, that some of these avatars are amalgamations of two nearby islands, that like maybe this is him with his head and this is him without the head. um and this, in the Egyptian cosmology, this was seen as like the beginning of the sunrise. Was Hall Island. It either was the sun or was the dung beetle that rolls the sun up over the horizon. So that might even relate to this cosmology, that somehow him cutting off this head is like the how the sun rises. Who knows? Yeah. So hard to know. Brr, brr, brr. Let's see. This is a possibility. I'm really not sure about this at all, but this is a possibility, since in the other avatars, Britain is usually a bigger god holding Ireland as a smaller god. That there's a chance that this is Britain, and then these things would be like these parts up here, like the Hebrides and whatever this part of the Highlands is. And that this would be like Ulster, and maybe the rest of the You know, because in the earliest Avatar, like the three westernmost provinces are shown as three hostages held by Britain. So there's a chance the other two are below there, but who knows? It looks like it was torn off. Mayan codex. I think this is the Codex Grolier or whatever. And what else we got? And I found some more Mayan stuff that hasn't uploaded yet to my photos to put on my computer to show. But there's pretty good ones, especially there's a pretty good one of Australia and Papua that I found, a Mayan map, Mayan avatars. And there's another one of Hispaniola that I found that is pretty good and pretty undeniable, I would say. So yeah, I think maybe this is all I got to show for right now, and then right, yeah, okie doke. So I'll leave it there anyway. Have a good one, everybody, and take care.